Welcome back to a new porch. I thought that I could do live from a different location because now I'm in the house. I have two porches in my house. Um, but live didn't work anyway, so here I am. I was all set up. So I see it's not ideal because the way that the sun is coming in, that's not great. But most of you are just listening anyway. You might even be using this as bedtime stories. Um, I think it's not good for ASMR because I get my voice rises and falls and I get loud and there's weird noises and I don't think I have a good microphone, but that's not your issue. We just keep trying, we keep evolving. Y'all missed all of that at the beginning of the first round of Best Tutor Friend 1 because I was learning then too, and then I got better and more comfortable at it. So we're just going to keep trying until we get a perfect channel going and all these books are read. So we are on Inferno, Canto 8, and let's read. I say continuing, that long before to its foundations we approach it nigh, our eyes went traveling to the top of the tower. So we are going into we were in the fifth circle, we're still in the fifth circle, but we're still moving on. For hung out there two flames we could espy, we could see. Then at such distance, scarce our eyesight made it clearly out, another gave reply. And to the sea of knowledge turned, I said, what meaneth this? And what reply would yield that other light, and who have it displayed? Thou shouldst upon the impure watery field, he said, already what approaches know, but that the fen fog holds it still concealed. Never was arrow yet from sharp drawn bow urged through the air upon a swifter flight than what I saw a tiny vessel show, across the water shooting into sight. A single pilot served it for a crew, who shouted, Art thou come, thou guilty sprite? O Phlygius, Phlygius, this thy loud halloo! For once, my lord said, idle is in vain. Thou hast us only till the mud we're through. And as one cheated inly smarts with pain, when the deceit wrought on him is betrayed, his gathering ire could Phlygius scarce contain. Into the bark my leader stepped. Bark is like a little boat, a little ship. They're at the, remember they came to the River Styx in the last canto. And made me take my place beside him, nor a jot, till I had entered, was it downward wade. So that leveling of the boat when you step into it. Soon as my guide, remember his guide is Virgil, and I were in the boat, to cleave the flood began the ancient prow, deeper than 'tis with others wont to float. Then as a stagnant ditch we glided through, one smeared with filth in front of me arose, and said, thus coming ere thy period, who art thou? And I, as one who forthwith goes, I come, but thou defiled, how name they thee? I am but one who weeps, he said, with woes. I answered him, with tears and misery. Accursed soul, remain, for thou art known unto me now, all filthy though thou be. Then both his hands were on the vessel's throne, but him my wary master backward heaved, saying, do thou among the other dogs be gone. Then to my neck with both his arms he cleaved, and kissed my face, and soul disdainful said, O blessed she in whom thou wast conceived. He in the world great haughtiness displayed, no deeds of worth his memory adorn, and therefore rages here his sinful shade. And many are there by whom crowns are worn on earth, shall wallow here like swine in mire, leaving behind them names o'erwhelmed in scorn. And I, O master, I have great desire to see him well soused in this filthy tide, washed over in the tide. Ere from the lake we finally retire, and he, or ever shall have been descried, the shore by thee, thy longing shall be met, for such a wish were justly gratified. A little after in such fierce onset the Miry people down upon him bore. I praise and bless God for it even yet. Philip Argenti, at him was the roar. Now remember, we always reference these names, and these names represent something. I don't want to stop now, but it's in the footnote, and we'll get into the description of who Philip Argenti is. At him was the roar, and then that furious spirit Florentine turned with his teeth upon himself and tore. Here was he left, nor wins more words of mine. Now in my ears a lamentation rung, whence I to search what lies ahead begin. And the good master, Virgil, told me, son, ere long we go to the city called of Diz. Draw near, wherein the great armies, cruel burghers like cities, throng. Burghers are the masters of the cities. And I, Already, master, I appear mosques in the valley to distinguish well. Vermilion, which is a color, as if they from furnace were fresh come, and he, fires everlasting dwell within them, whence appearing they glowing hot. Okay, what are we getting? We're getting those images of hell we now think of, the hot, the fires, the flames, right? We to the moat profound at length were brought, which girds that city all disconsolate. The walls around it seem of iron wrought, not without fetching first a compass great. We came to where, with angry cry at loud, "Get out!" the boatman yelled. Behold the gate. More than 1,000 who from heaven were cast, I saw above the gates, who furiously demanded, who ere death on him has passed, holds through the region of the dead his way. And my wise master made to them a sign that he had something secretly to say. So Virgil's going to pull him aside and tell him something. Then ceased they somewhat from their great disdain, and said, Come thou, but let that one be gone, who thus presumptuous enters on this reign. Let him retrace his madcap way alone. If he but can, thou meanwhile lingering here, through such dark regions who hast led him down, judge, reader, if I was not filled with fear, hearing the words of this accursed threat. For of return my hopes extinguished were. Beloved guide, who more than 7 times set me in security and safely brought through frightful dangers in my progress met, leave me not thus undone, I him besought. If further progress be to us denied, let us retreat together, tarrying not. Let's not get separated. Let's not wait around. Like, if they're going to take us, let's be taken together. The Lord who led me thither then replied, Fear not, by one so great has been assigned our passage. Vainly were all hindrance tried. It's okay. You got guaranteed safe passage. Like, there's a protection on you. Await me here, and let thy fainting mind be comforted with good hope be fed, not to be left in this low world behind. Thus goes he, thus I am abandoned. By my sweet father I in doubt remain, with yes and no contending in my head. I could not hear what speech he did maintain, but no long time conferred he in that place, till to be first all inward raced again, and then the gates were closed in my lord's face. By these our enemies outside stood he. Then backward turned to me with lingering pace, with downcast eyes, and all the bravery stripped from his brows, and he exclaimed with sighs, Who dare deny the doleful seats to me? And then he said, Although my wrath arise, fear not, for I to victory will pursue. However, within the plot, the enterprise, this arrogance of theirs is nothing new. They showed it once at a less secret door which stands unbolted since. Thou didst it view and saw the dark writ legend which it bore. Thence, even now, is one who hastens down through all the circles, guideless to this shore, and he shall win us entrance to the town. So Dante's going to continue. Virgil's left at the gate, and let's read a little bit about this. The account of the 5th circle begun in the preceding canto is continued in this, so we're in the 5th circle. It's impossible to adopt Boccaccio's story of how the first 7 cantos were found among a heap of other papers years after Dante's exile began, and that continuing marks the resumption of his work. The word most probably suggested the invention of the incident, or at least led to the identification of some manuscript that may have been sent to Dante with the opening pages of the comedy, because remember, this is a part of a series. If the tale were true, not only must Ciacco's prophecy have been interpolated, but we should be obliged to hold that Dante began the poem while he was a prosperous citizen. Boccaccio himself, who is a contemporary of Dante's, in his comment on the comedy, points out the difficulty of reconciling the story with Ciaccio's prophecy. So let's see if there's anything important to read. The name Phlegius, who burnt the temple of Apollo at Delphi in revenge for the violation of his daughter by the gods. So if you know Greek mythology, that's helpful for you. I was trying to see if they said, Philip Argenti, here's about him. A Florentine from Florence, a Florentine gentleman from Italy, related to the great family of the Adimari and a contemporary of Dante's. Boccaccio in his commentary describes him as a cavalier, very rich and ostentatious, that he shod his horse with silver, like put horseshoes on that were made out of silver, which would not be very solid. Silver is not very strong. whence his surname. In the Decameron, another classic work that some of you may be reading in advanced English, he is introduced as violently assaulting, tearing out his hair, and dragging him in the mire, the victim of a practical joke played by the Siaco of Canto 6. Some, without reason, suppose that Dante shows such severity to him because he was black and to a political opponent of his own. Interesting. Dis is the name of Pluto, the god of infernal regions. Burgers, the city of Dis, composes the sixth circle. So now we move from the fifth to the sixth circle. The sinners punished in it are not mentioned at all in this canto, and it seems more reasonable to apply burgers to the demons than to the shades. They're called gravi. Sixth circle with its minarets, so it's got a Muslim feel to its minarets, that is the city, its walls, however serving as bulwarks for all the lower inferno. The shape of the city is, of course, that of a circular belt. It's going round, and there are some images that look like that. Here it may be noted that the fifth and sixth circles are on the same level. The water of Styx, which as a marsh covers the fifth, is gathered into a moat to surround the walls of the sixth. The mosque represent the feature of an infidel city that first struck crusader and pilgrim. And then we just move on. What did we find in this city? What was the sin in this city? That one is what I'm not sure. Let's ask. It's a darker, we've gone deeper. Fallen angels. Virgil is needing help. Anger and pride. And that's why they say that's why Virgil couldn't advance. He got caught in his own part of hell. And he had a lot of anger and pride. Now, in the dialogue box below, I've given you some vocabulary words that you can review if English is your second language. Not a lot of hard words in this reading, but a lot of hard symbolism. And if you don't know these allusions to characters, to history, to writers, to philosophy, it seems kind of pointless. And if you're frustrated with this, just again, find something you like, find certain characters you like, find certain imagery that you like, and just push through, because this is one of those things you have to read in school. I appreciate you guys being here. I want you to engage with me by either liking or asking a question or defining some vocabulary or ringing the bell or subscribing. Help us grow the channel so we can have some great material out there for people to read all around the world. Let's see if we can get this working. Let me see if I can get this uploaded and figure Instagram out. And I hope, if nothing else, I'm a woman of a certain age. Technology can be challenging to many of us, and I'm just not quitting. This is something I really have a passion about, reading and teaching. I had built a channel that I was really, really proud of, and then that was taken away, and then I had some serious, and still have some serious health issues, and I was pretty down for a minute, but then I got up again. Never gonna keep me down. And I just said, this is what makes me happy. This is what I enjoy doing. And whatever the obstacles are, I just keep trying to break through it and follow what are my dreams. They're silly little dreams, a YouTube channel, so that I have some income in my retirement, and I'm doing some good for kids, and I'm reading books, making my brain better. So if that means anything to you and you want to support that, subscribe and read along with me. And join me on the porch, sunny or not. It's blindingly sunny. Sorry about that. So thanks for being here, and I will read to you next time. See ya.